This episode is brought to you by Pete's. Few things start your day better than a good coffee. That's why Pete's hand roast their coffee from a specific selection of high-quality beans. And they don't just put those beans into anyone's hands. Pete's trains their roasters for 10,000 hours so they can master the roast that gives you the most. Pete's Coffee. Coffee for coffee people. Find Pete's online or at your local retailer.
This is the Mistress Carrie Situation Report for September 18th, 2023. Your daily entertainment headlines, industry info, and everything rock. U2 took to Fremont Street in Las Vegas over the weekend to debut their brand new song, Atomic City. The band was staged on a flatbed trailer rolling through the area with about 250 extras and onlookers just before midnight to film what they called a low-budget video for the song. Atomic City was originally recorded at Sound City Studios in Los Angeles and performed multiple times to a pre-recorded track with live vocals. We hope you like this song. It was written about you. It's called Atomic City, which is the old nickname for Las Vegas. I don't know if you knew that. We just recorded this song last week. We're making a video for the song that isn't finished. This is the world premiere of Atomic City, a rock and roll 45-inch tradition of late 70s post-punk if you're interested. Blondie, The Clash, some early 70s Cozy Powell. This is the band's first performance since the Joshua Tree tour wrapped up in India in December of 2019. Larry Mullen Jr. was on site to record the video and reportedly played the drums on the track. Bono saying, sadly, Larry Mullen will not be with us at Sphere. He doesn't listen to doctor's orders, neither do many of us, but he's here tonight and we are so proud and wanted to be with us on this occasion. U2 kicks off their first ever Vegas residency, U2 UV Achtung Baby Live at the Sphere at the end of the month. Mike McCreedy from Pearl Jam says he's working on a rock opera to honor Chris Cornell and the Seattle music scene. Saying, quote, I look at him as one of the greatest songwriters of all time, aside from being a friend. The two were bandmates in the project Temple of the Dog. McCready saying, I love Chris and I'm working on a little project about the Seattle scene and a musical kind of rock opera thing. It's just from my experience in the Seattle music scene and he's a part of it. Having recently taken the stage for the first live performance with their original lineup in 17 years, Trust Company have now confirmed that they are working on new material. During an Instagram Q&A, the band said new songs are in the works and they can't wait to share them. Their last studio album, Dreaming in Black and White, was released back in 2011. Earlier this summer, Mr. Big, featuring Eric Martin, Paul Gilbert, Billy Sheehan, and Nick DeVerglio, launched their last worldwide tour called The Big Finish. Since the band's original drummer and co-founder, Matt Torpy, lost his battle with Parkinson's disease back in 2018, the band now feels it's time to mark the end of this chapter of their legacy. The first batch of shows in the United States kicks off on January 12th. In Houston, Texas, at the Rise Rooftop, more U.S. dates are set to be announced soon. Iron Maiden drummer Nicko McBrain has revealed that he suffered a stroke back in January, issuing a written statement and posting a video message via Iron Maiden's website, informing fans that he was temporarily paralyzed on his right side. He is mostly recovered, but still not at 100% despite performing with Iron Maiden on their summer European dates, which concluded on Friday, August 4th. Iron Maiden are set to open night number 1 of the Power Trip Festival alongside Guns N' Roses coming up next month. Jesse James Dupree has announced the release of a new studio album titled Breathing Fire, planned for a global release coming up on November 10th. The lead track is a song called Never Gets Old, co-written with Brian Johnson from AC/DC. The recording features Jesse James Dupree with his son Nigel on drums and Jackal bandmate guitarist Roman Glick. Brian Johnson and Dupree collaborated on several Jackal records dating back to Cut the Craps, Locked and Loaded from '97, Kill the Sunshine from Relentless back in 2002. Jesse James Dupree sang Brian Johnson of AC/DC is rock. I camped out for 2 nights to get Back in Black concert tickets in 1980, and to be writing songs with him is a trip. You can check out the lyric video for the single on their official YouTube. According to Variety, Rolling Stone magazine founder Jan Wenner has been removed from the board of directors of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after his controversial comments about black and female artists. In an interview with the New York Times, promoting his new book, The Masters, Jan was asked about using interviews he's only done with white male artists for the book. When Jan Wenner was asked about the omission, he said, "When I was first referring to the zeitgeist, I was referring to black performers, not to the female performers, okay? Just to get that accurate. The selection was not a deliberate selection. It was kind of intuitive over the years. It just fell together that way. The people had to meet a couple of criteria, but it was just kind of my personal interest and love of them. Insofar as the women, none of them were as articulate enough on this intellectual level." When he was called out by the New York Times reporter saying, "Oh, stop it, you're telling me Joni Mitchell is not articulate enough on an intellectual level? I'll let you rephrase that." Wenner said it's not that they're not creative geniuses. It's not that they're inarticulate, although go have a deep conversation with Grace Slick or Janis Joplin. Please be my guest. He went on to say of black artists, Stevie Wonder, genius, right? I suppose when you use a word as broad as Masters, the fault is using that word. Maybe Marvin Gaye or Curtis Mayfield. I mean, they just didn't articulate at that level. Sum 41 frontman Derek Whibley has been hospitalized with pneumonia. That's according to an Instagram post from his wife. She wrote that doctors had concerns beyond just the pneumonia, saying, quote, "The scariest part is that there is a lot of strain on his heart, and they're telling us that there is a possibility of heart failure." In an update, she says her husband has responded well enough to treatment to be released, saying, quote, "He's now under the care of his mother, who is a registered nurse, and myself." Sum 41 have been on the road this fall with The Offspring and Simple Plan. The band's next scheduled dates are at the When We Were Young Festival in Las Vegas, October 20th through the 22nd. Thin Lizzy have announced Vagabonds of the Western World, the 50th anniversary deluxe editions. The sets will be released on November 17th. Mudvayne lead singer Chad Gray has announced Mudvayne has hired a second guitarist to fill in the band's sound live, saying, quote, "It's awesome." Guitarist Marcus Rafferty has joined the band on tour. Rafferty is a veteran guitar tech who's previously worked with Lamb of God, Hatebreed, Saxon, Fozzy, and Mudvayne. He also spent time as a guitar tech and a stage manager for Hell Yeah, the band that Gray and Mudvayne guitarist Greg Tribbett were in alongside Vinnie Paul Abbott from Pantera. And speaking of guitarists, Head from Korn announced in a recent podcast interview that the band is working on new music that they expect to have out in 2024. Saying, quote, "Yeah, new music is coming out next year. I don't know. We're just kind of hiding right now, just doing our thing." And that's your sit rep. For more details on all of the stories, check the links in the show notes of this episode. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Episode 171, featuring Art Alexakis from Everclear, is available now.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like James. When he found out how much USAA was helping members save, he said,
"It's time to switch.
We'll help you find the right coverage at the right price. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Restrictions apply.